Hello, church. My name is Debbie. I'm Pastor Max's sister-in-law. I have to say I've been enjoying this journey of traveling through the Gospel of Luke, chapter by chapter, reading all the accounts that lead to the resurrection. I want to focus today in on chapter 19 and just share with you my heart on some personal takeaways that I received. I've enjoyed just reading through the different miracles and seeing people at the different levels of their faith, yet God did big things in their lives. Much like what we're experiencing today, everybody's at a different level, and that's okay. But the end result is that God is at work in your life. And just like He did here, He's going to do big things if you have an attitude of expectancy. Sunday, Pastor Max preached out of Luke 19 in the message entitled Tears of a King. What a great job he did setting the scene, providing insight on history, and unfolding a big moment in time. There's so much in this chapter, it's so rich. I just wanted to focus in on the first 10 verses. Let's read. Then Jesus entered and passed through Jericho. Now behold, there was a man named Zacchaeus, who was a chief tax collector. He was rich, and he sought to see who Jesus was, but could not because of the crowd, for he was short of stature. So he ran ahead and climbed up into a sycamore tree to see him, for he was going to pass that way. And when Jesus came to that place, he looked up and saw him and said, Zacchaeus, make haste, come down, for today I must stay at your house. So he made haste and came down and received him joyfully. This is where the story gets real good. It says, but when they saw it, the people around, they complained, saying, he has gone to be a guest with a man who's a sinner. Then Zacchaeus stood and said to the Lord, look, Lord, I will give half of my goods to the poor. And if I have taken anything from anyone by false accusation, I will restore fourfold. And Jesus said to him, today salvation has come to this house, because he also is a son of Abraham. For the Son of Man has come to seek and to save which was lost. My first takeaway of this observation, was that Zacchaeus was eager. He had an eagerness to see who Jesus was. In verse 3, as we read, it says he sought who Jesus was. He sought to see. He had a longing. He had a desire there to know more of this man, right? I think about could this eagerness been sparked from when he was in the marketplace collecting taxes? Could he have heard the conversations? Could he have sensed the anticipation in the air around him of this man that was coming to their town, this man that they've heard about? Could that have been what put him in a place of expectancy, of eagerness? That eagerness caused him to place himself in a position that he didn't allow the crowd to obstruct his view. And so he did what he needed to do. He jumped in a tree and looked down. Had he not done that, he wouldn't have made that contact with Jesus. So we see here that Zacchaeus was in search of something. It reminds me of Matthew 7:7, where it says, ask and you shall receive. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door will be opened. He searched, and because he searched, he found. He had this encounter with Jesus, the Messiah. Have you ever found yourself in a place of searching, of a longing? Maybe it was something happened and you're longing for the answer. Or maybe you have a problem and you're searching for the resolution to it. Maybe it came from a place of, maybe it's an invention. You know, maybe this longing and this searching has come from a place of frustration. Maybe it's fear, despair, hurt. Nonetheless, there's a longing there. In my personal life, I found myself in this place. I found myself in a place of asking questions, and my questions leading to a search. And, perhaps it was, why did things happen this way? Could they have happened a different way? Could I have done something differently? In that search, and that longing to find the answer has taken me to Jesus. Just like we see here, Zacchaeus had an eagerness. That eagerness was a pursuit to find an answer, and his answer was in Jesus. See, I think about what do we have to do in our daily lives to position ourselves, rather first to come in a place of expectancy and eagerness, and secondly to come to position ourselves just like he did to see Jesus, to encounter Jesus, to experience Jesus. In verse 8 here, as Zacchaeus and Jesus are speaking, I notice the willingness that Zacchaeus approaches Jesus, and he says, "Here, Lord, I will give half of my riches and to the poor, and I'll also give 4 times over that to those that I have falsely accused." And I thought, man, what a make restitution, right? Where restitution is, I'm just going to give you back what I took. But he went over and above. And that to me was a condition of his heart. That to me was a sign of a changed heart. Here was once that he was a cheater, he was a liar, he was despised by many. Yet this man comes face to face with Jesus and willingly is like, here, I not only want to give it back, I want to give it back even more. That speaks a lot there. So first his eagerness, now his willingness, and those two led to his complete change of heart. Here what we see in this story is it was an external reflection of an inward heart transformation. Only Jesus can do that. I just want to encourage you today that when you go before the Lord, go with an eagerness, with an expectancy. God wants to meet you where you're at, but he's not going to leave you there. You're going to be changed. And come into his presence. Come to the Lord with a willingness to lay your will down for his will. It's better than yours anyways. And number 3, lastly, just know that when you do that, that your heart's going to be changed. And just like we saw here, the Zacchaeus' heart was changed. And not only he benefited, but his entire family. It benefits us. It profits us to be right with God, right where we're at. That's where God wants us to be. So I want to admonish you today that when you go before the Lord, go in these 3 ways, with an eagerness, with a willingness, and know that you're going to come out with